you know what you're going to get. 45 minutes of absolutely quality entertainment. What a way to finish off our speedy Saturday from Virginia International Raceway. Hello everybody and welcome to what is undoubtedly appointment to watch and or listen racing. The first of two Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin events here at Virginia International Raceway that rounds off an outstanding more than 9 hours of track action that we've had this speedy Saturday. A big thank you to all of our volunteers, the marshals, those on post flagging, and of course our tech team and camera operators who've had a very long day indeed. But we get to bring you this outstanding entertainment to wind up the day. First of all, let me remind you exactly where we are. Just outside Danville, in Virginia, a spot that is absolutely glorious. 3.27 miles, 17 corners, that accurately reflects the local side roads around here. It almost is like we are racing on the streets, to quote Bruce Springsteen, the boss. But we're not, of course. This is a closed road circuit, and it's one of the best in North America, which probably makes it one of the best in the world. From the rundown to the horseshoe at turn 1, then the climb up to the oak tree turns at 11 and 12, and then the highly technical turn 14 through to turn 17, down the roller coaster to the hog pen. There's a little bit of something for everyone. Been a bit of rough and tumble in the early part of this weekend, and particularly through qualifying. That is reflected on the grid. Shea Adam joins me, John Hindhaugh, in the booth as we're getting ready to go green for this one. We had 28 entries. We will have 25 starters. Nathan Nicholson is serving a one-match ban, if you will, in soccer terminology. He'll be back for tomorrow's race. John Miller and Chuck Mactesis will not be starting this race after problems earlier on. Woody Hyman and Jean Jourdouin had to change, in Woody's case, a car and his tyres, and in John's case, a set of tyres. So they've been put to the back of the grid, which leaves Farhan Siddiqui in the number 95 car on the inside of row 12, and on the Mazda starting grid, Christian Hodland and Robert Mao on row 11. On row 10, Ethan Tyler and Cody Powell in the 80 and the 6. Heather Hadley and Parker DeLonghi are on row 8 of the grid, row 9 of the grid, excuse me. Then it's Zach Hollinshead and Sally Mott on row number 8. Peter Atwater and Christopher Allen are on row 7. Grant West and Julian DaCosta on row 6. The top 10, the top 5 rows. JTR Motorsport Engineering's Aaron Johnson and Jared Thomas are in positions 10 and 9. 8 and 7, Spark Performance, Alex Bashira and Paul Sitting, rookie, BSI Racing's Western Workman in the purple number 13 in 7th. 6th for Jonathan Nader of another BSI Racing driver, and his teammate for this weekend, Jagger Jones, is in the 86 Lightning McQueen car alongside him in 5th position. The top 4 for Saito Motorsport crew, Tyler Gonzalez, who's had a busy day today, is on the outside of row 4 in the number 57. And the top 3 are all McCumbee Macaleer Racing. Nate Cicero in the 3rd position, inside of row 2 in the number 83. And the front row is Jeremy Fletcher in the number 22, and his teammate Gresham Wagner in the number 5. Gresham Shea didn't have the best start the weekend. I think when we first went out, Gresham brought out the red flag when the car broke down fairly early on.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a hangover from the crash at CTMP when Gresham Wagner wound up on his side. The car, with a little bit of oil in places that it shouldn't have been, puffed out a lot of white smoke with a few other colors mixed in there. The crew did manage to get the car back. They managed to get it fixed, and Gresham did have a rocket ship for qualifying this morning. Good enough for pole position for today's race. Let's see who takes the fastest lap and potentially pole for tomorrow's race as well.
Points for grid position pole, for the fastest lap of the race, for leading the most laps of the race, rather, should I say, and of course for the positions. We'll go through the championship implications in a few moments' time, but we've got 45 minutes on the Mazda MX-5 Cup clock, and we are racing at VIR for the first of two races of the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin, and they're all spread out into the first corner, and off goes Jeremy Fletcher. I think that is from the outside of the front row. That's the 22 car. Gresham Wagner is still running. The JFR car for Michelin Racing is off, and that is significant. We'll get back to that at the moment. I noticed somebody had their four-way flashes on further back down the field, but Gresham Wagner did manage to get through. That'll put Nate Cicero, I think, up into second place. Also coming through there was Tyler Gonzalez. So it is the number 5 from the 83 in second, Nate Cicero. As I thought, top 4 have broken away with that little problem. Tyler Gonzalez in third position. Then the rest of the field come through. The good news is that Jeremy has got back onto the field, back onto the track rather, from the field. Oh, he wasn't even half a car wide there, Shea, but at the horseshoe, it's downhill at the edge of the track. And also, the Opmo car, the Operation Motorsport, Robert Mao for MBM Motorsport is off as well. Operation Motorsport, a mirror image of Mission Motorsport in the UK. Jim Cameron's brilliant innovation, now over 10 years old. Opmo, not quite that old. Oh, and Alex Bashura was involved as well in the 33 Spark Performance car going off wide, and then it all kicked off behind him with the number 82 going wide as well of Woody Hyman for JTR, but it looks to be the Operation Motorsport. Diesel and Tiff will be disappointed with that. Operation Motorsport is a charity that helps returning veterans to re-engage into society using motorsport as a very powerful tool. And the good news is that we have the 82 car of Woody Hyman and JTR back on the track. Well, that was exciting, Shea, in the first couple of corners.
Wow, they didn't exactly give us time to get acclimatized to the water temperature before throwing us off the end of the dock. That was quite an eventful start for all of our competitors. Just before we move away from the Operation Motorsport, Robert Mao is actually a naval veteran, so Tiff and Diesel picking the right people to represent their wonderful organization. It's Grant West who's driving around with the four-way flashers on in the number 50, and what an eventful day has Woody Hyman had, because he went off on the outlap of qualifying going into Oak Tree Bend. He went off very quickly and backwards, resulting in him needing this backup car for today's race. That was part of the issues with all the different changes that had to be made to the 82 in order for the JTR organization to get that car even onto the racetrack. Woody has continued. Alex Bashura has also continued, and it looked like a solid hit for the driver of the number 33, who claimed his first ever podium. The guy who's got more series starts than anyone else. First podium for Spark Performance in that last contest. Let's see, Woody Hyman. Yep, that's the sound I'm hearing. Woody has made it back into the pit lane, so this should be a fairly quick yellow.
Well, let's just review what happened at the start. We had 3-4 wide. That's standard operational practice. Jeremy Fletcher goes a little bit wide. Now, that's fine. He's having his own incident. He did not hit the barriers at turn number 1. Now, the second incident started with Alex Bashura going off. He may have got a little side swipe, and he's hit the barriers quite hard and bounced back off. Then there was a secondary incident behind him involving Woody and the 16 Operation Motorsport car of Robert Mao for MBM, and they may have just had their concentration taken a little bit by what was going on. Woody Hyman is back on the track with a car that's not quite the pristine level. Well, the good news is that Robert, in the 16 white and checkered blue car, other than a little bit of damage to the left rear, which I think is where he got the tap. Maybe he was just checking up when Alex speared off to driver's left at the left hook. Now, the first time I drove a Mazda MX-5 actually was courtesy of Michelin Motorsport many years ago at the Anglesey circuit in the UK for the Race of Remembrance, which is an endurance race held on in the UK, effectively our Veterans Day, Remembrance Day weekends, closest to the weekend, closest to the 11th day of the 11th month, 11th of November. Now, bad news for Alex Bashura here and Spark Performance. That car is going to need a flatbed to get it back. Shea, whilst we have the moment, let's talk about the championships that are in play here. First of all, the main championship. How does that stand? We've had quite a little break whilst the guys have been off in some ways doing other things, in some respects doing other things, and whilst IMSA had a little break as well for the Le Mans break. What's been going on? What was going on when we left this championship, and how does the championship stand?
Previously on Mazda MX-5 Cup. In
Excellent.
the 2024 season, we've only got 4 races to go, but the top 8 are covered by about 600 points, and each race has 380 points on offer. So that means it is wide open as far as it goes. We've got 2 former series champions in that top group. Jared Thomas is 3rd in points. Gresham Wagner came in 5th. When we went into CTMP, though, Gresham Wagner was the championship leader, so it tells you just how quickly things can swing in this championship. And only 2 of the drivers in the group have won a race in this championship. I mean, at this racetrack, we've got Jared Thomas, we've got Nate Cicero from last year, and we do have Jeremy Fletcher in that top group. Jeremy has not yet won a race this year. I'm saying that because hopefully that will change. Come on, Jeremy, let's manifest it. Aaron Johnson leads the way for JTR Motorsports Engineering. He has 2,600 points, 30 points over Nate Cicero, driver the number 83, so that's 24 leading 83. Leading 96, as previously mentioned, for Jared Thomas. Then it's Fletcher in the 22 in 4th place. He's only 110 points off the championship lead. Gresham Wagner in the 5, currently at the head of the field, is 5th in points. Weston Workman is 6th. He's in the 13. That's the shiny purple one. So if you're out around the track, now you know who to keep an eye on a little bit closer, because they are all fighting for real cash money. There you go, guys. Take a drink.
That's especially for the very enthusiastic group on our Discord servers who follow all of IMSA and endurance racing. However, they love a bit of Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, and they do like a little mention of real cash money. If you're joining us for the first time on the international TV and audio feed, we're talking over $1.2 million as a prize fund at the end of the season. The biggest single prize is the $250,000 check that will be written for the championship winner, and that is, as Shea says, real cash money. You don't have to spend that in the series next year. Relatively new addition, doubling the prize fund actually, is the fact that every single race of the championship pays from 1st to 10th at the very least, and there's also a contingency payment for the best female driver as well. So serious amounts of money up for grabs. The Whelen Mazda MX-5 safety car turns right into the pit lane, and Gresham Wagner with 36 minutes pretty much on the nose on the clock. And we are back to green flag racing as they go under the starter stand on the little kink down towards the first corner. The leader, really squirrely under braking. The Michelin tyres squeaking in protest there as Gresham Wagner was hard on the brake pedal. And Nate Cicero stays there. And off all the way at the back of the field.
Sally Bott.
Is that Sally? Yes, it is. Sally Mott in the 15 car. Thank you, Shea. She'd been running well up the order there in the mid-teens. And remember, by the way, there are 35 minutes still to go. At the moment, the fastest lap of the race is held by Woody Hyman for JTR Motorsport on that run to the green flag. And I do not expect 2 minutes 40.701 to beat the fastest lap at the end of this race. But hey, I've been wrong plenty of time in the past. Gresham Wagner from Nate Cicero and Tyler Gonzalez. Bit of argy-bargy at the left hook as side-by-side action. JTR number 96. That is Jared Thomas, was being worked over there a little bit, but he managed to hold his own from Weston Workman and Jagger Jones in the number 86. The 86 this weekend, so I know it's normally the 95, but the 86 is the Lightning McQueen-alike.
Ka-chow.
Meantime, the leaders... Ka-chow. Meantime, the leaders at the front of the field, down the back straight. This is unusually spread out as through comes Jagger Jones in that number 86 car, putting a move on Jonathan Neudorf. A little bit of hip and shoulder there to make up a position.
Jonathan's having a rough race. He was the one who Jared Thomas was looking for the moment of opportunity going through 3, and then finally getting toward the end of the track, he gets harassed again. I really hope that Neudorf manages to pull it together, because he was way towards the front, especially for the second qualifying for race number 2. I think he's on the provisional front row for that one.
And the reason that is provisional, although we only have one qualifying session, as Aaron Johnson, I think, just getting, no, it was, excuse me, Peter Atwater, I think, who was getting bumped around a little bit there. Yes, it was the 26 car. The reasoning, it's provisional. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a big off for the number 20, and Zach Hollingshead for the Sato Motorsport Group is off at NASCAR Bend. Got a bit of a swapper going on where the back end and the front end weren't really talking to each other, but I think he was tipped into that. One qualifying session for 2 races. Your first lap sets the race position for the first race, and then either your second best lap or your best race lap from the first race sets your grid for the second. Well, good news is Zach Hollingshead, one of the rookies. Did he get a little tap from the number 50 Grant West? Yes, he did. I think Zach might be coming through the pit lane, Shea, don't you?
I think Grant West might be serving a drive-through penalty for that, but very well done by Zach Hollingshead, making his debut this weekend to actually get the car going and moving once again, and the tire barrier didn't even move either, so really impressed with the amount of impact that should have come that didn't.
Well, let's remind everybody who might be watching here hang on, Tyler Gonzalez is going up to second here at the top of the hill. He's in second. Now he's back down to third. No, now he's in second. And coming through, Weston Workman in the shiny purple one is into third. So that is a drop for Tyler Gonzalez, who drops a couple of positions there. No, it's Nate Cicero, actually. He's dropped a couple of positions because Tyler Gonzalez is up to second place as they come to the line. These Mazdas look pretty straight stock. Put those thoughts from your mind. There's a roll cage that you can see, which is FIA approved, but the whole car is pretty much stripped to a bare shell. The 4-cylinder 2-litre 180 horsepower engine is put to one side. That will become important later in the build by Fliss Performance up in Daytona Beach, as through to the lead goes Tyler Gonzalez in the mostly white car. So you've got the shell. He has not led a lap yet at the line. That is crucial. So you've got a shell that was a street car, and you've got an engine from a street car. You've got a gearbox. Actually, you're not going to need that because we're going to put a Sadev sequential box into your Mazda MX-5 Cup car. We'll make that back up with your street car engine as it started, and we'll seal that street car engine so that there can be no jiggery or indeed pokery from any of the teams. Then we'll put well over 250 dedicated race car parts, including race suspension, race wheels and tyres, a race seat, a race steering wheel, race ECU and control systems, fire suppression systems, and a rear axle as well. And that is what makes a Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup car. I make that sound much easier than it is, to be honest, and the brothers Fliss do a brilliant job. Top 5 are together. The red and white car making a move is that of Jared Thomas. Is that of...
Yes.
Jared Thomas, yes, I was right in the first place. Don't second guess yourself, Hindhaugh. Went to that race livery about halfway through the season. Second group of cars coming through now as well. And the number 26 right in there, that's 11th place Peter Atwater. We saw him going wide earlier on at the front of the field. The top 3 now are spread across the track going down in the first corner. As soon as they start fighting, everyone else will catch up. Grant West, Shea Adam, has come into the pits.
He has. He served his drive-through penalty for the contact with Hollingshead, so glad to see that that penalty has been served. That's one we can tick off of our list that needs to be done. And Tyler Gonzalez needs to stay out for 5 more laps in order to claim most laps led, which comes with 10 bonus points. Tyler Gonzalez, 15th in the championship right now, needs to claw his way back into the top 10, because that is where you get the big comedy checks for finishing for the season end championship. And we only have this weekend and then Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta before we give out those big checks. So there are still a lot of points on offer, but not as many as people want.
Hello to @Cass posting, tuned in, watching live, loves hearing about the build details of these cars. Look, the MX-5 is a serious road and track car. The latest version of the street car for 2024 has a new setting on the traction control. It used to be on or off. There's now a track setting on that as well, if you want to retain a little bit of electronic aid if you take the car to the track. It is a down-to-earth, pure driver's car, 3 pedals and a stick shift, 180 horsepower. It weighs as much as probably a shopping cart at Publix, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. But well, it depends how many wings you put in your shopping cart at Publix, of course. Beautifully appointed inside for the road cars, leather option, heated seats, aircon, all kinds of DAB or satellite radio options as well. They're all taken out for the race car. That's where you lose all the race. As through to the lead goes Gresham Wagner. That's where the weight comes out of these cars. But make no mistake about it, you can have a lot of fun in an MX-5. I know there will be people saying, but it's only got 180 horsepower. Go drive an MX-5 and tell me that it's not enough power. Trust me, it is so much fun. I drove one for the first time in a long while, actually, in the UK, at a Mazda event at Bicester Heritage, right in the middle of England, in an beautiful early spring day earlier this year. And first of all, it was like putting on a comfortable pair of race boots or shoes, because I haven't sat in one for a wee while. It took me about 100 yards to remember how much fun you could have in them. And by that time, I was still only doing 20 miles an hour. And then out on the back roads around Bicester Heritage in Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire, absolutely brilliant. And you don't have to be doing 1,000,000 miles an hour. 50, 60 miles an hour down the back roads, which is what the speed limit is in the UK. Really shows these cars for what they are about, and that is pure driving pleasure. And the racing versions, Shea, are pure racing pleasure, and that's why we have so many drivers who don't just use this as a stepping stone. They stay here because it's great racing and for that big money prize pot.
Look at Gresham Wagner leading the way, taking back the lead of the race well before the start-finish line, by the way. Very important, because he is then credited with leading yet another lap for those 10 bonus points, and Gresham knows how valuable the bonus points are, as now into the lead goes Jared Thomas. But Jared, 2 times this series champion. He's been in this series for quite some time now, having won the scholarship to come into the series a while ago. Gresham Wagner's been in the series for a very long time as well, even though he's still a very young man. So it's just funny that you get these people who do so well in the championship, and yes, they venture out, they look at other forms of motorsport, they might even participate in other forms of motorsport, but they always come back to Mazda. This is where you learn racecraft, and it helps that they pay you to do well here too.
That's a good point, well made. Jeremy Fletcher, by the way, remember, was all the way at the back of the field early on. He's fought his way back up to 10th position. And as far as our rookie battle is concerned, and we do have a rookie championship as well, Jeremy Fletcher still has the fastest lap of the race. Weston Workman, who is the best rookie, sitting in 3rd position overall, 2nd fastest lap of the race. And Aaron Johnson, number 24, sitting in 7th place at the moment, is the 3rd fastest lap. But it is, no doubt about it, Jeremy Fletcher has got a fast car. He's getting on for half a second quicker than anybody else out there at the moment, and his next target will be 9th position, Julian DaCosta. And last lap around, he was well over 3/10 quicker than the car ahead of him, so he's going to close down the 2-second gap pretty quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hang on. We've got 10 cars battling for the lead again, haven't we? As we come out of the Oak Tree corner. Slow-moving car ahead is that of Ethan Tyler, BSI Racing car. He's just come out the pits, Ethan. Hasn't had a good run here, but he stayed across to driver's left, put his 4-ways on, let everybody knew he wasn't going to get involved. Really heads-up driving from Ethan. Thank you for that. To the top of the hill, coming down the roller coaster again, so beautifully named, with the shadows lengthening now, and the drivers do get the sun in their eyes at that point. So I notice a few drivers have got their visors partially opened, and they're effectively using their visors on their full face helmet as a sun strip, if you will, and just making sure that that's gives them the opportunity to see their braking point into the top of the hill. A little bit of bump and run. Bump drafting is fine on the straights. The race control team don't like to see it through corners. Fletcher with another fastest lap, a 2:07.5 for Fletcher. That was a second quicker than our leaders last time around. Outstanding stuff from Fletcher, and he is catching now Jagger Jones, who's just dropped down into 9th position as Julie DaCosta goes up to 8th position. He's our 2nd best rookie at the moment. Weston Workman across the line was scored in 2nd, but it was Gresham Wagner who got the lap lead that time around. Are you keeping count of this, Shea?
I am. He's now led 7. Tyler Gonzalez and Jared Thomas each have 1. But I'm not at all surprised by Jeremy Fletcher's pace, because it was here last year, race number 1, that for the first time in his young career, Jeremy Fletcher set the fast lap of the race. So clearly he's got the confidence to know that he can put together a lap. He can find a speed in the car where perhaps other people might falter. He is capable of doing that, and why not replicate it? Race 1 last year, race 1 this year. Gresham Wagner is thinking, yeah, you know what, race 1 last year, not so good. I don't want to replicate that 17th place finish. Let's go for a win.
So nice bit of green flag racing, and Weston Workman up into 2nd place at the left hook last time around. Just put a right fender onto the leader there. Weston Workman, the rookie, who has been at the sharp end of the field, got a couple of race wins under his belt as well. I've said this before, Shea, but this is a championship where the rookies don't just poodle around learning the craft. They are mixing it up at the sharp end of the field. Sam Paley started that a few years ago, and we've seen it with a number of rookies, and Weston Workman just the next in a long line of rookies who have been challenging for overall victories.
Yeah, and especially if you consider how this year has gone. Weston Workman with 2 wins on the year. We've got Nathan Nicholson, who's got a fair slew of podiums to his name as well. Julian DaCosta very impressively getting on the podium the last time out at CTMP. So these rookies are capable of mixing it up and taking away those valuable championship points. But it all started, of course, we have to go back to Connor Zilic a few years ago, who very nearly took the overall championship in his rookie year, on top of claiming all those wins as well. That's really what changed the way that the rookies raced in this championship.
And there is a sizable check at the end of the season for the best rookie. You get either the check for your position in the championship or the rookie check, whichever is the larger of the two.
$80,000.
Yes, $80,000. It is a significant prize pot at the end of the season, as we mentioned before. If you are watching our live free, subscription-free and ad-free international feed, whether you are on racer.com or any of the other syndications, and you can see cars running around in the background, don't worry, we don't have interlopers on the circuit. It has long been a tradition here that we use the Patriot circuit on the inside. It is of VIR, it's entirely enclosed. Michelin do a lot of tyre testing here, and there are a variety of racegoers and guests here who are trying out some very snazzy sports cars whilst racing is going on. So just in case you see something in the background that catches your eye, under 20 minutes to go. We'll come to the line this time to complete lap number 11, and 19 minutes to go now. And this time it will be the rookie Weston Workman, just underlining what we were talking about 2 minutes ago as they went across the line. He scored as a lap leader. And remember, all of these accomplishments in the race, most laps led, pole position, etc., all score points for the end of the year, and the points are added together. It may not seem that important to get pole positions and laps led. However, Shea, Adam, tell us a story.
I'm looking at the first page in my notebook, and when I got the notes ready on every driver at the beginning of the year, I had multiple different colored pens. I know that'll really surprise you, John, to know I was using the different colors. No one's page is littered with more colors than Gresham Wagner over the last 3 years of racing. And in this season, it took until we got to mid-Ohio before Gresham got a single bonus point. Well, then he started racking them up, and since mid-Ohio, Gresham has been on a tear, because he knows you might finish third where you could have finished first, you might finish sixth where you could have finished third, and all of a sudden, the bonus points make up for that deficit. So Gresham Wagner, a guy who won the championship in 2021, he was third in 22, and he's been fifth 2 other times. He understands the name of the game and the way that this poker system works.
And those of you who've watched and listened with us on a regular basis since the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin came back to IMSA sanction a few years ago will know that we had a championship not so very long ago that was settled by the gap of 1 position on the track at the end of the season, and that happened at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, and absolutely extraordinary scenes in the pit lane while neither of the drivers knew. We were feverishly working out it was a penalty to a driver not involved in the championship as the lead changes again. Weston Workman leaves the door open down the inside. Jared Thomas takes the invitation and leads in the red and white number 96. It was a penalty on a driver not involved in the championship that demoted that car and changed the points standings after the final checkered flag of the season whilst they were all sitting in the pit lane. And we had to do the arithmetic ourselves, and in fact that year's champion heard it on the PA first as we were calling it out.
He did, and it was one of those things that made me think really long and hard before I announced the mathematics as they added up. My giggle in the background there was for the fact that all of a sudden the three MMR cars are together once again. That being the three well within the championship. Jeremy Fletcher, who's been on this tear back, he's now P5. Nate Cicero is P4 in the 83, and then Gresham Wagner in the 5.
Wow.
So it didn't take them very long, did it?
No, indeed. John Wilder saying, what's the over and under on this 22 car? Might have to put some money on it. It's Jeremy Fletcher, who was last at the end of lap 1, now up to 5th position. The McCumbee Michelin Racing, number 22. And hello to Helper Monkey, who says, I can't take the smile off my face. This is fun racing in this series. Well, whether you've just come to it or whether you are a seasoned Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin watcher, you are very welcome. We have got more, or around half the field, certainly more than a third of the field, battling for just 3 steps on the podium. Going all the way back to, what's that, 8 or 9 cars? That looks like maybe Julian DaCosta is that at the back of there, the 78 car. Yes, it is. So 9 cars out of 25 that started the race. Alex Bachura, by the way, has not rejoined after that severe impact early on for the Spark Performance number 33. Hope to see him back in the second race tomorrow. But literally any one of these 9 could take this race victory or be second or third. I won't say that none of them might, because that don't wish ill on anybody. In 8th position, in 10th position, excuse me, Peter Atwater is now 7 seconds away from this battle. And he's having a bit of a scrap with Jagger Jones for 10th and 11th place, for a top 10 finish. And remember, Cash Money played down to 10th position, so that is worth $1,000 if you're 10th or 11th. 10th gets you $1,000, 11th is a smile on your face for having some fun, but no folding on that one. Western Workman's led another lap of the race from Jared Thomas from Gresham Wagner. The purple 13 from the red and white number 96, from the blue and white number 5, blue and black number 5, I should say. It's Nate Cicero with the black front on the 83, who's just nipped up into 3rd place. Then Jeremy Fletcher's up now into, can you believe that? That is extraordinary. The 22 car now up into 5th position, the lighter blue machine, by, I mean, he didn't start that far back, but he finished the first lap dead last, and he's fought his way through the field. Outstanding drive in that number 22, the slightly lighter blue car with GFR on the side. He's ahead of the white, mostly white, Tyler Gonzalez machine. Tyler's already been racing today, and he's had some good wheel-to-wheel racing as well, Tyler Gonzalez, in the Michelin Pilot Challenge TCR category. I won't spoil the race for perhaps those of you who didn't watch it live, but absolutely outstanding, respectful racing. Now, a little bit of bump drafting again. 2 pairs of cars. Who picks the right side? Oh, down the inside. The 96 car very much left on his own, and Jared Thomas might lose a position or 2 as Workman's led another lap here, and we've still got 12 minutes to go, Shea.
And it is still Gresham Wagner leading the way for most laps led, but Weston Workman is clawing them back. And Jeremy Fletcher is doing everything he can to enter this fight for the lead of the race. This is spectacular racing. Weston Workman is trying to check out. For a second, I thought Jared Thomas was getting ganged up on by Jeremy Fletcher, Gresham Wagner, and Nate Cicero, the 3 MMR boys, running around out there like their own little gang. But no, they played nicely. We still have 11 and a half minutes to go in this race. I don't think people are going to start punching harder than very, very light sock and bopper jabs level at this point.
Oh, sock and bop. Now you're taking me back in time, Shea. Hello to Maxwell Holbrook. Hello, Max. And thank you for the kind words about the broadcast. A lot of hard work goes into this from our camera operators. Alyssa, our producer, up in Concord, North Carolina. And, of course, everybody trackside on the ground who makes this race meeting work, including our hard-working corner marshals and flaggers and all the volunteers in the paddocks, as well as the teams and the drivers. This might be, says Jake Petrolhead, the drive of Jeremy Fletcher's career. It's one of the most spectacular comebacks I've ever seen. It is outstanding, and he's not had a caution to help him. He was last, and the pack was brought back together, of course, but he's not had another caution. He's had to fight through the 20-odd cars. Brilliant stuff.
The bottom of the top 10 is also extremely intriguing, John, because we've got Julian DaCosta and Aaron Johnson hanging on to this battle for the lead, this 9-car battle for the lead. In 10th, Peter Atwater. In 11th, it is... Oh, who was that who was just sliding back? Was that Gresham Wagner starting to lose a couple places?
Yes, it was.
We've got Jones back in 11th, well now in 12th, because Jean Jodoin has passed. The 3 cars, the 26, the 39, and the 86, they are really going at it, and that too is capturing my attention.
Jeremy Fletcher confirmed in 3rd position, but gave the number 5 car of Gresham Wagner a little bit of help going into the horseshoe at turn 1 last time around. Weston Workman looking for his 3rd win of the season. He's got Jared Thomas, the JT of JTR Racing, right behind him in that very evocatively liveried number 96 car. Anybody who came up in the 80s and 90s watching Formula Racing, as I did, will recognise that paint livery scheme. A lot of McLarens in that colour down through the years. Down onto the back straight with just under 9 minutes to go. Little dab on the brake pedal. That is not to try and shake the driver off behind, just making sure that the brake pads are right up on the rotors, on the disc when you need them at the top of the hill. First 2, there is no space between them at all. Jeremy Fletcher in 3rd is holding on. In fact, he brakes super late there and closes up on the leaders. Behind him, Nate Cicero's right on it as well. My goodness me, this is quality stuff at the front of the field. 13, 96, 22, that's your top 3 at the moment. Those are your podium finishes. Oh, and all of a sudden they've linked together. That's interesting. BSI from JTR, from Macumbi Makalia Racing. Nate Cicero is another MMR car, the 83 in 4th position. Then Jonathan Nerdorf moving forward as well in the BSI number 55. Gresham Wagner down in 6th position for the moment, just ahead of the mostly white car of Tyler Gonzalez in 7th. Aaron Johnson dropping off the back of the field for the moment. Marvellous stuff. Julian DaCosta's right there though. Johnson and DaCosta just need to work together for half a lap or so, and they will be back with the leaders. 7.5 to go. What's that? That's probably 4 laps.
4 laps, yeah, I would imagine it is, John. And I know that there are people all over the world who remember race 2 from last year at VIR, but if you weren't with us, I'm not going to spoil who won, but I will say this. A game of billiards broke out going into turn 15, and
yes,
several cars wound up
right
off the track. So every time I see the competitors breaking that little bit deeper, I have that momentary gasp and this sickening feeling in my stomach that we're about to see a bunch of cars knocked off the track.
Well, in race control, actually, looking at the incident at turn 1, the not this time by, but the last time by, between Gresham Wagner and the number 22 of Jeremy Fletcher, there was contact there. I think it was difficult to say who initiated it, but there was certainly contact between them. And whether Jeremy was pushing Gresham because Gresham had already had a problem with someone else, I honestly didn't see. But race control are looking at that at the moment. Still a very pleasant 82 Fahrenheit in the air, 100 Fahrenheit on the track. That's 38 Celsius on the track, 28 in the air. And it's still probably, with 6 minutes to go, still any of the top 6, maybe. We're just starting to lose a couple off the back. Let's call it the top 7. Another lap led by Weston Workman, but he doesn't lead at turn 1 because through goes Jeremy Fletcher, and the comeback is complete from dead last and 25th at the end of lap 1, or at the end of the first corner, in fact. Jeremy Fletcher in the light blue number 22 for McCumbee McAleer Racing and Jeremy Fletcher Racing is leading the motor race with 5 minutes and 20 to go. He has used his Michelin tyres expertly to get to the front. Has he got performance left in them here? This is quite an abrasive surface here at VIR. What a venue for this type of racing. Absolutely top to bottom, front to back, and start to finish. Entertainment with a capital E.
Jeremy Fletcher deciding today that he wants to use his superpowers of driving a race car for the purposes of good instead of evil. Coming back from the back of the pack, looking still for his first career win in this championship. He's had a couple of podiums so far this year, 5 of them total. But it was CTMP where really there was a lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda. He crossed the line first in one of the races, but due to a time penalty, did not get to stand on the top step of the podium. Could today be Jeremy Fletcher's day?
Well, what a way to do it. He was last at the exit of the first corner, having gone into the corner, battling for the lead, comes out of it at the back of the park, and now, with probably 2 laps to go as they come to the line this time, it will be white flag next time around, not at this time past. It'll be next time around will be the white flag, and Jeremy Fletcher has led a lap of the race now ahead of Jared Thomas, and Weston Workman pulls out. He's got Nate Cicero right behind him as he goes left-hand side, the wide way into turn 1. Now, all of those little alliances that you've made, your teammates, maybe the guys you know in the paddock that have kept you there with the draft, got you into this top 6 or 7 cars, that's going to all go out of the window in the next 6 miles, because it's every driver for himself. It doesn't matter whether you're all JTR, all McCumbee McAleer Racing, all BSI. This is about the top step of the podium. And right now, Jeremy Fletcher is trying to light the afterburners, and he's breaking away here. This is an extraordinary run from the number 22 car as he goes up for the penultimate time to the through past the lodges on driver's left. Great place to watch there on the balconies. Drifting the car through turn 8 and 9. And now get on the brakes at just the right time. Balance the car, you're braking, turning, and just a little bit of throttle to straighten the car up into the oak tree. It's almost 2 parts of the oak tree turn at the far end of the circuit. This is the second to last time down the back straight. Now, will Jared Thomas have a go here, or will he just game it out for next time around? And Weston Workman's in there as well. The top 3, Shea Adam, have broken the toe to Jonathan Neudorf and Nate Cicero, and that is Gresham Wagner coming through into 4th position. Gresham has seen the danger and he wants to get with the top 3 for the last lap.
This isn't Survivor anymore. This is Hunger Games at this level. They are all out for themselves. It's only one goal. You want to be the last person standing. And to be honest, Gresham Wagner, not out of this either, because as they come down the front straight, they see the white flag waving. It is in hand, and Tyler Gonzalez is off the track. He is stopped on the side of the track, but this means 3.27 miles. No guarantee that where you are right now is going to earn you a trophy by the end of this one.
Now he's on, I think he's on the, he's got behind the safety fence. I don't think we'll need to go yellow here, which is brilliant because it means we're still racing. Watch out for the car in 4th position. Gresham Wagner still has a chance here. Last time around, Aaron Johnson and Julian DaCosta both put their fastest laps of the race in. Jeremy Fletcher has the fastest lap of the race. Oh, Tyler Gonzalez is nearly covered at the top of the roller coaster. If he could have just pulled the car further over. We're still green at the moment. I just wonder... No, that's not where he is. My apologies, I'm wrong.
Turn 7.
It's the wrong part of the track. It's turn 7. Yeah, thank you. So the leaders are passing that point now. So we will stay green for the rest of the race. Gonzalez's car will not finish. That's bad news for Tyler Gonzalez. Half a lap to go, mile and a half, just over. And it's the long run down the back straight. Who has got the draft? Top 5 are together. Neudorf back into 4th position. Wagner in 6th now because Nate Cicero's gone through. This is extraordinary. Can Jeremy Fletcher hold on? Will Jared Thomas in the red and white car pull out? At the moment, Fletcher does not see the need to defend. That was brave. That was very brave indeed. He stacks them up at the top of the hill, down towards the hog pen for the final time. There's a long run to the line, and we've seen blanket finishes here before. Fletcher has got to get a good exit out of here because he's making the hole in the air for everybody behind. Here comes Workman. Here comes Jared Thomas. 1, 2, 3, 4 across the track. We've seen this script before, but it's going to be Fletcher. Fletcher, last at the exit of turn 1, wins it after 45 minutes in one of the most extraordinary comeback drives ever. What a way to take your first Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup race. Jeremy Fletcher for Macumbi Makalia Racing. Spin and win. The Danny Sullivan of Mazda MX-5 Racing. Extraordinary, brilliant racing. And look at the car. Look at the car. It's got all of its body parts on it. In fact, there's not a dent on it other than where he got tipped off on the right rear at the first lap. That is one of the drives of many great drives, Shea, Adam, that you and I have seen in this championship.
Oh, that was worthy of a first win. Congratulations, Jeremy. It's been building up for a very long time, but to do it with that level of finesse and style and making the move at exactly the right time. You said at one point, John, he was trying to light the afterburners. I think he found that button and he actually engaged hyperdrive, because to not even need to defend against the 2-time series champion Jared Thomas, that was a very impressive drive for a young man who now finds himself a race winner in this championship.
My good, look at the car. The car is pristine. He was battling for the lead going into the first corner. He ends up so far off, he almost had to show his pass to get back into the circuit. He couldn't have been any further off without hitting anything. And unofficially, our Mazda finishing order is Jeremy Fletcher winning it from Weston Workman, and Gresham Wagner comes home in 3rd position. Weston takes the best of the rookies. Further down, Sally Mott takes the 13th position, just 2 spots ahead of Heather Hadley. So she'll take the check for the best female driver, just outside the top 10 again. Problems at the back end of the field. Alex Bashura went off hard early on. John and Chuck didn't start the race, of course. Brilliant stuff. Tyler Gonzalez will be gutted because he was having a really good race in the number 57. Zach Hollingshead also involved in an incident early on, and because the race went green after that, he did not have the chance to recover. Into the pit lane for his first trip to victory lane for Jeremy Fletcher, and Shea Adam has done the arithmetic on the championship.
All right, to keep this interesting, let's go back to front from the top 6. Remaining in 6th place, but much closer now, is Weston Workman, 2,610 points. In 5th place, still is Gresham Wagner, 2,790. A joint way tie for third, as I can hear a very excited Jeremy Fletcher revving the engine, 2,820 for Nate Cicero and Jared Thomas. In second place after today's race, Aaron Johnson, 2,840, and 10 points ahead of him, our race winner, Jeremy Fletcher, 2,850. He is provisional championship leader.
Incredible stuff from all of our MX-5 Cup drivers. Well, it was a tale of two halves of the race. Jeremy Fletcher nerfed off early on, disappeared from the top of the timing screen, and from then on, it was all about the fight back. All kinds of scraps going on at the beginning, and Fletcher picked his way through the field to get on terms with the top 9 with about 5 laps to go. He wasn't ready to just settle for that. Some outside manoeuvres and the win for Jeremy Fletcher. We'll see you again for race 2 tomorrow. For Shea, I'm John. Bye-bye.